Hello, class. This is Manuel, and I just wanted to give you some feedback regarding the first activity of the course, where you had to either introduce yourselves or introduce somebody else. Well, first problem, obviously in some of the videos, not in all of them. In some of the videos, the background noise was an issue. It was difficult to understand what you were saying because of all the noise in the back. So please make sure that when you record the videos, the TV is off, the radio is off, and there isn't too much noise around you. That would that would make things a lot easier for me. Now, regarding vocabulary, something that it's a problem in 99% of the cases. Unfortunately, I don't really blame you because it's only common in Colombia, but well, that doesn't mean that is okay. It is a mistake, and that is the word that is the use of the word teacher when you're referring to your teacher. um, is a mistake. It is wrong. You don't say that in English. It is like calling your teacher in Spanish docente. You don't do that. You don't say hola docente, hasta luego docente, buenas tardes docente. You don't do that, right? Even though your teacher is a docente. Um, in English, you don't call your teacher a teacher, even though I am a teacher. Um, if I was working in high school or in elementary school, people would use the title Mr., and that's what you do. So, for example, in a high school, people would call me Mr. Rosero. A woman, you can call it Miss or Mrs., depending on whether or not she's married. So that could be something like Mrs. Krabappel. I don't know if you have seen The Simpsons, where Bart Simpson has a teacher. He always calls her Mrs. Krabappel, and so on and so forth. You can call it Miss Martinez, Mrs. Jimenez, etc. Right? In a university where teachers usually have PhD degrees, they call them professors out of respect. I still don't have a PhD. I have a master's degree, and hopefully one day I will get my PhD. So for me, it would be awkward if you would call me a professor. So you can just call me Manuel, but please, not teacher. That's not something we do in English. Next thing is the use of the word actually. Again, it's only normal to think that the word actually means actualmente. It makes sense, right? But it doesn't. Um, the word actually means en realidad, right? And if you want to say actualmente, you use the word currently, right? So please check out the meanings of the words actual and current, and actually and currently. The next thing is also an issue in some cases, fortunately not all of them, and it's also very normal because it's what we do in Spanish, right? We use the word have to talk about our age. You say, yo tengo 30 años, for example, right? But not in English. In English, we use verb to be. Instead of saying something like, I have 22 years old, you gotta say something like, I am 22 years old. Another problem I noticed in some of the videos was the use of the word good night when you want to say hello, which is a mistake too. You use good night when you're saying goodbye, either because you're going to bed or because you're just leaving and it is already nighttime. In that case, you say good night. If you're just saying hello and it's nighttime, you say good evening, right? So please be careful with that. And the final vocabulary problem was the use of the pronouns his and her. Remember that we use his when we're talking about men, and we use her when we're talking about women. And finally, we had a grammar issue, but I think it was only one video where I noticed that, but still, I wanted to point that out. We don't mix verb to be with a normal verb like have, at least not like this. In present continuous, we do, but that's a different story. So we don't say things like I am have a daughter, right? The normal way to say it is I have a daughter, right? So please do be careful with that. And well, that's it. I hope that this will help and I made things clear for you guys. Please do check out the other videos I will be uploading very soon. Bye.